looking at a couple of strategies to get kids creating, engaged, and they're not that hard on teachers, not that, it's putting the work on the students. So welcome here to Ready, Tech, Go, right at the end, the last day. And I'm happy you came because I'm really surprised. I was like, I don't know if anybody will show up, but welcome to SISD teachers and then Region 20, Northside, yay, my alma mater, my old school. I hope you're enjoying some of your much deserved time off. But teachers are always learning. That's why you're here today. So I hope to show you a couple ideas that you can use in your classroom. So first I want to tell you a little bit about Ed Tech and Design, the department that Juan and I are in. We're instructional specialists. So every time we say that, I am instructional specialist for the Department of Ed Tech and Design. Ugh, by the time you say that, but we are serious about our vision for the district and our job in the district. So our vision is all about being future ready. We strive to ensure that our students have the skills for a future we cannot even imagine. We don't know, what kind of job they're going to have. So to be successful, we need them to be critical thinkers, creators, collaborators, communicators, all those things, the 4 C's. Add to it adaptable, grit, can-do attitude, kind of entrepreneurship. So yeah, we have challenges ahead of us, but this is a perfect time to put the work on the kids and not as much on the teacher. So I'm going to try to give you some ideas today. Our goals are to improve student achievement also through the integration and the alignment of the tech application, the TEKS, those 21st century's competencies in daily instruction. So not just, once a week, we're going to do something like that, but continue to use them daily and to build teacher capacity. That's what we're doing today as part of our PD, is giving it to the people that are in the trenches with the kids. We get in there with you and we'll build capacity so you can make these things happen. The hard workers of the district, for sure. So we are always aligned to T-tests and the ISTE standards. Any kind of PD that we give, it'll be linked to one of the dimensions. So today we're looking at the planning dimension 1.4. The teacher plans engaging, flexible lessons that encourage higher order thinking, persistence, and achievement. So I think this paper slides and the revision of paper slides will fit that description there. Also, the ISTE standards will always be on our mind about the technology piece of it. So welcome and let's get started. So here we go. Yes, sending out an SOS, and I want you to just keep singing that for the rest of the day. And if you don't know what it is, then you should look up history book, look back a few years or ask your parents or grandparents, I'm not sure, but anyway, somebody will know that. But creative instructional strategies that are easy to do help you out there. So, okie doke, let's see. At the bottom of this slide, there's a bit.ly. So if you'll open up a tab and then put in that bit.ly, or it's pretty easy to get to, and it's all caps, RTG, save the day, and then you'll have a copy of this slideshow. And it's got several resources. That's why I would like you to have it if you want it. So now I always make everybody work when they come to my PD, but I want to know who's here. I think I know this strategy works for any grade level, any teacher, any subject, but I'd like to know. So if you'll put in the chat, what grade level do you teach, or subject, maybe even, what district you're from, if you'd like to share with us, just so we can kind of meet each other in I think we're a little small group, but we can kind of hear. Self-contained, K through 5, definitely 7th grade science, perfect for 7th grade science, social studies, second grade. Yes. Okay, so all the way from kinder to high school can use this, the strategies I'm going to talk about today. So good. I hope you got a copy of that. So we're going to move on, and I went too far. So my objectives today are for you to experience a revised version of paper slide strategy. You may have heard of that, like, oh, paper slides, wait a minute, that's something easy. Apply the strategy to a lesson and collaborate and reflect on the strategy. So I hope we get that done in this quick 45 minutes that we have. So paper slides isn't anything new. It's been around for a while. And this particular one we're going to look at right now is called Make It Concrete from Discovery Education. So it's a revision of maybe the original paper slide strategy. So I'm hoping you can start thinking of your area of expertise, your classroom, and how you can use it in your classroom in different subject areas in this way. So make it concrete. So in your presentation, that's where you can get the information, the PDF. So you would just click on that title and then you'll have that information. So make it concrete is kind of concrete and or shape poems have been used in the classroom for years, but this strategy kind of puts a twist on the concept by using it as an instructional strategy. You have students reflect upon and share out something that they've learned through a media resource, a video. So you're kind of making that video chunk for kids because they're going to be taking notes. So this resource will tell you exactly how to set it up, and not that hard to do. And you're going to actually come with me and do one of these, make it concrete. So you start out with like 3 main ideas. If I was first doing it, that's kind of all I would do. And here's a version of it, like picture 1, picture 2, picture 3. And you're going to watch the video and take notes kind of that matches up with that picture. So you're going to move along in the video kind of in those chunks. So instead of it just being a video without any way for you to stop thinking about one thing and move on to the next, these little chunks are going to help you move along. So we're going to do it together. It's a really short video. So what I want you to do, you're at home, you're at the comfort of your own home. As we try this, you're going to just get out a piece of paper or open up a Google Doc or whatever, right? 1, 2, 3. We're going to watch the video and then you take notes looking at the picture. Maybe keep the tab open on your computer because mine is going to turn into a video. But look at these pictures. They're very simple pictures. Even I could draw, but watch the pictures and then take notes that have to do with that picture in that chunk 1, 2, and 3. Okay, everybody, any questions about what you're going to do? We're going to watch a video and you're going to watch and listen, and you're going to follow along with the pictures and then the number cards, and then take, you would have those cards in front of you and take notes to match up with the cards. Everybody good? Everybody ready? Let me see. Somebody already knows this. Yes, you're right. Very good. Okay, so let me play the video. Fingers crossed that we can see it and hear it and everything. Good. Can y'all hear it?
It happens because hot rock rises, heated by the Earth's core. Near the surface, the rock spreads in 2 directions and goes sideways. It begins to lose heat. Eventually, the much cooler rock sinks back down. Through this spreading process, the Earth's crust is very slowly dragged apart, and it's this that ultimately causes the continents to move. Where the plates collide, the rock on the seafloor containing carbon from the dead plankton is carried deep into the earth. As it descends, this layer of rock is heated, so the rock melts, releasing carbon dioxide. And gas is returned back into the atmosphere during an eruption. The remarkable cycle is complete.
Okay. Let's see.
Hi, everyone.
No,
I
no,
figured
no,
I'd
no,
throw
no,
together
no,
a
no.
quick video just to review some of the content you've been working
I
on
knew
in
that would
class.
happen.
Let's get started.
No.
Obviously, you've been
Okay.
working on this theory called plate
Oh.
tectonics.
Yes, we are. Somebody guessed it. So, okay. Someone brave, unmute if you're there, unmute, and tell me how this strategy, the make it concrete strategy, is better than just having the kids watch the video and absorb the knowledge. Anyone brave out there that will go, oh.
I'm always telling my students to excuse me, to give me evidence of what they see, what they know. So I like the fact that the drawings are there, arrows showing the direction of movement. So not only I would have them state what it is, but how do you know that? What is your evidence? Prove it to me. So I'm really digging this. I'm really digging this whole little thing right here.
Oh, good, good. I'm glad to hear that. That's exactly how I feel about it. I think we ask kids to watch videos a lot, and videos have good information, but are the kids getting it? You know, we're like, oh, we're not really sure. But if you chunk it and you're connecting it to an image, then and like you're adding to it, they have to prove it. They have to prove they know what's happening and why. All the better. Then we do know they didn't just watch the video and, you know, that kind of thing. So, yay. I think it makes a big difference. So the tips for success is to teach this strategy to the kids. So you start using it right away. They know it. You know, you call it make it concrete or paper slides, whatever you want to call it. So you start out with you drawing the pictures. Just leave the images black and white. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. I cannot draw. If some of you guys can, but you know, something maybe you're going to do in the copy machine, what have you, right when you're teaching it to them. I would do that. I would give them the pictures. After they know the technique, then I would give them the main topics, the chunks that I want them to know about, and then let them draw some pictures. That's another level that I can see if they're understanding, if they truly are understanding by the pictures that they choose to sketch. You might even have a student in your class that's the artist. We always have that. Maybe a student can draw the image for the class on a whiteboard or smartboard, and then students take notes based on that. So there's a lot of things to change around to fit your class. So some things for success might also be that if you're playing it like I played it whole class, you might have to pause the video. I'd like to give a video to kids and tell them to pause it. So that might be something you might have to model first. Like the best way is to pause the video, get your notes down, then press play again. So teacher model that first and then turn that over. So pausing the video, giving the students time to write and draw. And what have you seen so far? Kind of questioning them, especially when they're learning this strategy. So, hey, okay. Let's see here. We all survived the And so my question to you too, and I love that you shared that, yes, it will. We were going to do that. Never mind. Got changed. Okay. is, do you think doing it this way will keep your students more engaged? You can give me a thumbs up or put in the chat. Yes, because that's how I feel about it. I don't know if my kids are watching it. I put it on a Google form and I say, watch it and then answer these questions, but I don't know if I can't prove that they watched it. So now I want you to, my plan was that you can start thinking right now and make it solidify for you just in a really quick amount of time. I want you to try it out. So the first thing you would possibly do, of course, your content, but find a short video for an upcoming unit, or maybe let's just think about what we just taught, So go on YouTube, see if you can find a video. You might already have one, and think about the essential questions or the ideas that you want the students to know. Okay, so that would be your first step on creating your own, make it concrete. Then divide that topic into main ideas. So jigsaw it. That's basically what we're doing for kids, jigsawing it for them. So then you would draw an outline of the image or a series of the main topics, and then students would fill it in. I wanted to give you a little bit of time today, and I'll go to the next slide so I can see. I think it's just 5 minutes or something that we were going to spend on this. Find an idea that you can use next year. So maybe you're already thinking, oh, right when we get back from summer vacation, which is going to be nice and long, what am I going to teach? So we're going to spend about 5 minutes doing this. So if you want to turn your camera off, I really am hoping that somebody will share their idea, maybe even share the video that they found, or tell us about the ideas, their main ideas, and maybe what a sketch would look like. So we're going to pause for 5 minutes, and I'm hoping when we come back, somebody brave will share. Okay, so any brave souls out there that came up with an idea of, I can think of all kinds of ways to find a video and chunk it and have kids take notes. Anybody want to unmute and share with us what you came up with?
Maybe providing sentence stems for the students to so they can also use on the images to get them sentence starters.
I love that. I love that. Exactly. So great way to scaffold. So you're already starting it and let them complete the sentence, what they're looking for. So they've got a starting place. I love that idea. I love that. Anybody think of a topic that they teach, a subject, unit of study that they teach, that this would be a good way to introduce it so that kids could gather background knowledge? That's kind of one of the things I think I would use it for, is like, let me make sure they know about story elements or the basics of something. So be a great way for to build background knowledge. Anybody else?
It's not that I don't want to share, it's just that right now I'm at a standstill because I don't know if we're going to be using the new science teaks for this year. So I sent TEA an email and I left a message for them to either call or email me with the answer. So I'm kind of I'm on a standstill until I hear back from them.
No kidding. Gosh, that's not fair. Wow. Don't they know that teachers start planning right now? Well, I know you will find, I'm hoping you can keep these ideas in your head and say, oh, this is a way I'm going to build some background knowledge or a review, what have you, just this chunk and chew of the videos. So I'm all about kind of not using a lot of paper, you know, if I can. We have the technology. Anybody think of a way that we can digitize these paper slides? So instead of, I mean, I think it's great to have something to touch and do, but anybody think of any tools that they've used that you might digitize this? So digital slides.
Are you thinking of like a Google slide?
It could be Google Slides. That's what I like, Google Slides or Google Drawing. That would work, right? We could give kids a copy of it. It could be divided on 3 slides and they take notes on it, right? And everybody gets their own copy of the Google slide. I was thinking maybe a Padlet. That would be good too, where there's 3 pictures and then they take notes. Maybe Jamboard. So yeah, so maybe after they've learned it and, you know, depending on where they're at in their computer skills, you can introduce once they know the strategy. So I think it would be interesting to give kids a choice, you know, once they're maybe drawing the pictures, hey, do you want to do it on Google Slides or do you want to do it with paper? So a little bit of choice there. So I was telling you when we started out that what we just did, the Make It Concrete, is kind of a revision of the very original paper slides. And I'm sure you've heard of paper slides. It may have been a while back, but the original paper slides was a way for students to explain a concept in their own words and illustrations that they created. They were retelling. And so they were internalizing this information that we wanted: vocabulary, story structure, concepts. It was all done on paper so that we didn't need a lot of technology. So it's pieces of paper, but it's a great way for us to assess their knowledge on the topic. And their ability to work collaboratively, because a lot of times this would be a group project and they'd have to practice it. So I'm going to go over here to, this is how you'll get the original paper slide information, PDF. So here is from Discovery Ed, all the information about it. So why it's important, retelling, and how to do it, which I'm sure you can figure out how to do that. But so we're looking at that students are going to create a video out of 8 to 10 sheets of paper. So they're going to be drawing on these sheets. They're going to be using just one iPad per group. So that makes it nice, or one Chromebook in front of a camera. And then they have to talk and move the paper. And so they would have to practice that. They would have to know the concepts of vocabulary. I would give my students a rubric ahead of time saying, this is what I expect to see. This is how you're going to get the best grade. You know, how many topics do you need to cover? So, and kids can get really, really creative with it. So it's a good way to put out the markers, maybe kind of do something a little old fashioned, but also adding that technology in there where they're going to have to talk. So anytime we ask kids to record their voice, we're bumping up the rigor right there, because they can maybe write or draw, but then to actually speak and explain and practice that speaking and then recording, that makes the activity more rigorous. So it would be the same thing. You are going to teach and you're going to get the information would have been gathered throughout a whole unit, and it would be more like an end of a unit assessment. So this kind of just gives you some more information about it. One important thing that I love is like, it's a one-take video, no stopping and no starting editing. You practice it and then you do it and make it the best, because otherwise students in my class, oh my goodness, sometimes these GT kids would just, no, I want to do it again. I want to take that out. I said, well, practice and get ready and say, yes, we're ready to record. So you tell your students from the very beginning, it's a one take and then we're done. And so that's important to me, because you don't have enough time to spend the whole week making it, or longer, as they would do. So that is the original paper slides that I really, really like. And so I think I have one here for you.
These are facts about the solar system by Zena. Enjoy. Our solar system is nearly 5 billion years old. It is made up of 9 planets. You may think Mercury is the hottest planet, but just because it is closest to the sun doesn't mean it is the hottest planet. Venus is the hottest planet. It might not be the planet most closest to the sun, but it is made up of a lot of hot gases that make it the hottest planet. Mercury is the planet most closest to the sun, and it is due to its proximity. It is not easily seen except during twilight. Venus is named after the Roman god of love and beauty. Earth was formed approximately 4.54 billion years ago, and it is the only planet known to support life. Mars is a terrestrial planet with a thin atmosphere composed primarily of carbon dioxide. Jupiter is 2.5 times more massive than all the other planets in the solar system combined. It is also known as a gas giant.
Okay, so I don't think the sound wasn't very high volume for me, so it may not have been for you too, but we can see she's going to continue to tell us more about the planets. So I wonder, what do you think about students making this video? I've done it several times where it's a group of students creating the video and moving the papers and talking. So what do you notice about what kids are going to have to be able to do in order to create this paper slides video? What's a skill they need to work on, and this is a great way for them to work on it? Can anybody have an example of?
I just like the fact that this student is demonstrating her knowledge of the solar system The creativity she did drawing each of the pictures, her explanations. I loved it. I loved it.
I think,
And probably because it's science too.
well, yeah, that's true. It's true. Sometimes science, but it can be used across subject areas. Yeah, she did. She had to know, she knows her subject, that's for sure. She had to know it in order to, first of all, draw it and then to talk about it. So that's why the adding the audio to it, it adds the vigor. I love that it makes her thinking visible. So she really had to plan it out. You know, first let me talk about the whole solar system and then one at a time. So that whole thing about making thinking visible and how the information is stored in your brain, organized in your brain. I think that's a really a skill that kids need, is that organization. How are we going to organize it? How are we going to present it? And then of course the choice, the voice and choice. So they could draw. We talked about maybe, you know, digitizing it. There's always usually one really great artist. So maybe you'd give different jobs to different students. So there's lots of potential for collaboration, creativity, communication, those all important 4 C's, but they also have to know the content for sure. They can't just wing it. So, okay. And so we kind of looked at that, talked about this a little bit, but what do you think when you get back to your classroom? What do you like one better than the other? Do you think one works better at like at the end of the unit, the beginning of the unit? What are you feeling about like original paper slides, student created, or the revised, make it concrete, teacher created in your classroom? And how are you thinking it would work with individuals or group projects?
I'm thinking because I teach middle school that they could do an original one, but I love the fact that, you know, perhaps it could be a great way to end a unit or a lesson where they can collaborate and come up with this. And I like the video where, because the student didn't have to show their face, because I know a lot of my students don't like to do Flipgrid. I don't want to have to show my face. I'm like, your face is beautiful. And they're like, no. And so, you know, you get a lot of fighting on that. So with them still being anonymous, being able to still do the presentation, I think this is an excellent way.
Great. I'm so glad you bring that up, because I'm telling people all the time, I taught middle school for 15 years. Flipgrid is great. All these videos are great, but middle school kids, as much as they want to Instagram and everything else, they don't like making videos in school. And so this is a way to get their understanding, and it's just their voice, podcasting or anything else. And then once again, it's choice. You know, I guess they could, if you want to make a video, you could hold it up and you can be in it if you want to and pointing it, but still your paper slides. So I love that you say that. Exactly. And it could be an individual project or a group project. It's just totally up to the teacher. Okay. So I wanted to share one more resource for you. We have 3:36, about 9 minutes left. Maybe I finished a little early. Let me go back. The resource here is called Reel into Paper Slides. I thought it was really interesting. Someone created it. Let me see, can't name, but she gives a really good, Diana Benner, so through TCEA, and it explains and gives directions on everything, maybe something you wouldn't have thought about, like when can you use it for reading? How about math? How about science? Of course, we have some science teachers in here, social studies, vocabulary acquisition. We had someone in here, let's give them a sentence stem. So the vocabulary acquisition. And the materials that you need are very little, like we talked about, like just paper, you know, and markers, crayons, one iPad or one Chromebook. Everybody doesn't have to have a device. Everybody doesn't have to have it out. If you use phones, then do that. And then of course the creativity, imagination, we're opening it up. We're not saying it has to be this way. Let the kids plan it out and then record it to make it come alive. So I like her explanations, and she does talk about some great practices, how to make it work in the classroom. So that students would have jobs, we do that a lot, a narrator, illustrator, make sure they brainstorm it and plan it out ahead of time. Write a script, that's another thing, this all has to be done before you can record. Write a script, what are you gonna say? Come up with the title slide last, kind of switch it up. So I like her ideas here about just adding to the project. So here's some ways to plan it out and using a concept map. Here's a rubric. So I love that too. Give that to students ahead of time. And so I thought you might appreciate some of this information. It might be kind of old, but we can still use it. That's for sure. Some things, they last forever. Good strategies last forever. So I think I've finished maybe, 5 or 6 minutes early. But I thank you for coming. My email address is on the screen there. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. If you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. I love to brag about teachers, and it's usually some really cool project that they're doing. So I'm hoping to really get in to all the classrooms next year and show what teachers are doing in SAISD. So I thank you once again for joining me. We are from the Ed Tech and Design Department. And if you have any questions, there's the website, the phone number to our district office, to our coordinators, if you have any questions for them. And that's all I have. Juan, do you have anything?
No, thank you so much for sharing all that. It was absolutely great information, Jeanette, and want to remind all participants to access the sign-in form that I placed in the chat box at this time before they exit. So make sure that you get credit for the time that you were here.
Yes, fill that out so you can get credit, and then let us know. Let us know how we can get better at doing these PDs and preparing teachers and students for the 22nd century, whatever we're working on. No.
Absolutely, absolutely, and we want to wish that this is literally our last session of the Ready to Go conference.
Yep.
And so we want to take a second to wish everyone an absolutely outstanding and safe summer.